What's up, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of BitLab Academy. I'm your host, Kellam, and you know what? Today, we got to dive a little deeper into the Polkadot ecosystem and what they're doing to evolve and grow into future-proofing what's going on, because this blockchain space and technology is moving so fast. It's wonderful to see projects out there that already have built some legacy. They've not only have a great ecosystem, but they're also doing things to improve that ecosystem, to not only incentivize development in those ecosystems, really improve those standards and practices, and also how developers can participate, making it more affordable, but also how that itself can also drive positive value and capital flow to these types of change. So let's break down the key features and what they mean for developers, token holders, and the blockchain community at large. So before we do, make sure you hit that like button, you hit that subscribe button, and you ding that bell. Let's get into it. First up, we have dynamic block space allocation. This is a huge thing because this is going to be one of the primary drivers to something that doesn't seem like it has much impact initially, but it's actually going to drive. It's going to be the fuel for which is going to drive not only activity, because when you're building out an ecosystem, that's going to attract more people, and more people not only means more fees, but also more activity. But then all those metrics, those fundamentals that we're looking for when we're looking for a type of project that we want to potentially invest into, but we don't invest in something unless we see a vision. The fundamentals that are indicating, they're painting the picture for more to come, for more growth, more activity, more use case. That's what healthy investments is all about. So as I said, Polkadot 2.0, they're moving away from what previously was the fixed lease model for parachain slots. And this has to do with the block space, because you can't just start something and run it and just expect it to grow. If you're truly trying to build something robust and secure, then you need to be able to provide incentives to make sure that developers want to develop here. Because remember, in the blockchain ecosystem, there are not only tens or hundreds or thousands, there's in the tens of thousands of blockchains that are coming out, because this is the most exciting investment space. This is the most exciting portion of technology that we've seen in some time. The only thing that can mimic this is AI. And so what we're seeing here when we're trying to identify which different crypto projects to invest in, I want to know what projects out there are investing in evolving, dynamically evolving what they're doing to fundamentally entice developers to want to build on this change. Because the more development you get, the more activity you get. It's just like having train tracks built through some areas of the country back in the 1800s and not others. And wouldn't you know it, if you look at all the train lines through the US, for Atlanta is a great example. Atlanta is a major hub for railway stations. Before the railroads were here, it wasn't, you would think it'd be the capital city, like down in Savannah or something like that. But it's where the railroads went. It's where infrastructure was being built. From that infrastructure then spawns the rest of the ecosystem to grow up around it. And Polkadot 2.0 is all about creating the best infrastructure to not only drive development for the variety of ecosystems they have on the Polkadot chain, but also allow it to be, I don't want to say future-proofed, but identifying what they can do that can support future growth. These are the types of things I want to invest in. And so, but the fact that they're moving away from this fixed lease model for parachain slots is brilliant, because instead of locking in a lease for a set period, developers can now be able to purchase block space on demand or in bulk if needed. This shift aims to make it easier and way more cost effective for projects to scale their operations on the network. And I mean, just imagine being able to dynamically adjust your resources based on your project's current needs. That's the future of Polkadot 2.0, and that's what they're promising, and that's going to be one of those things that's going to remove that barrier of entry for developers when they're trying to figure out where they want to operate. In addition to that, when you think about the type of ecosystem Polkadot is building with this idea, not only idea, but this imperative of theirs, their mission to be interoperable, to help engage and tie together the accessibility and use cases of the variety of different ecosystems out there. They're saying, hey, yeah, we're building an ecosystem. It's great, but let's also make sure that we can essentially interoperate with what else is out there. Because if everything is absolutely segmented, it's going to be a huge barrier for adoption for the crypto space as a whole. So those projects like Polkadot, those projects like Chainlink, doing these things that are tying together the broader ecosystem, this is what I'm looking for as an incredible investment opportunity looking into the future. Let's talk about enhanced scalability and efficiency. One of the best standout features of Polkadot 2.0 is the introduction of elastic cores. These elastic cores can adjust to varying computational needs in real time. This is about that dynamic evolution I just mentioned before, not only for developers, but also for the actual functionality, the use of the network. Think about Solana. Think about Solana over the last year and a half, going down all the time because there's something that they haven't fully programmed in or sorted out to really account for when you have huge congestion on network or when you have huge use case, spurts of just activity. When you have something like this, when you have scalability and efficiency really being now, cooked in to the underlying infrastructure of Polkadot and the parachains, that whole ecosystem, it's going to allow for a lot more feasibility and manageability of higher traffic when it comes, because do not even second guess it. Adoption is coming. And those that are preparing for the adoption now, preparing for future congestion, preparing for how can we set up our blockchain? How can we set up our protocol to account and use things the most efficient way so that we can scale into the future when those huge tranches of people start pouring in? Because this innovation, absolutely, it ensures the computational power is used more efficiently, allowing the flexible and effective resource allocation across the network. This is the type of thing I want to see when I'm investing in something. They're thinking about where it's going and how to account for it ahead of time so they're not left chasing the ball in the future. This means smoother operations and better performance for all projects running on Polkadot. You see, because Polkadot, there's some coins out there you could just buy that coin, they do this. One of the reasons why I made such a big move in my altcoin portfolio, after I did the last video and I did the research, from the research, I said, I have to make some changes in my portfolio because I had some projects that, yes, they have some ecosystem, they have, maybe a cool use case, but Polkadot has its own use case in terms of this interoperability, while it also is entirely focused on building a foundational network and a foundational ecosystem that can continue to grow and utilize this underlying blockchain. And remember, there's a lot of different things that are going to be driving token price. So we're going to be talking about that here in a second. Next thing we want to talk about here is governance and treasury management are also getting a major upgrade. Polkadot 2.0 is set to enhance its governance model, giving DOT holders more influence. This is what I want. It's supposed to be decentralized assets, right? So part of that for me also means I hope I can participate in the decisions that are being made, not like a bank where you get what they tell you you're going to get and they also don't get what they tell you you're going to get. Because remember, the dollar is just a broken promise. But here with Polkadot, because of this upgrade with the governance and treasury management, allowing you to have more influence over the network and changes the treasury fund allocation. This is a big thing. Revenue generated from block space sales will be directed to the Polkadot treasury, where token holders can vote on how these funds are distributed. So there are funds that are being generated on these blockchains. Sometimes it feels nominal because sometimes the fees are less than a penny. Sometimes it's $1. But there are fees. There is revenue being generated by these different blockchains. And in Polkadot's case, they want to see that those fees go back. Essentially, what the revenue that's generated goes back to the treasury, and you have a big influence on how that is being utilized. This is huge. So we need to pay attention to what's going on here, because it's going to be very easy for people in the crypto space to want only the convenience, but remember, lack of control that you get with banks. So all in all, this community-driven approach not only democratizes decision-making, but also ensures that the network evolves in a way that benefits its users. This means that the way you participate in this ecosystem and the fact that you have more influence and the revenue is also going back to a treasury that you as a holder have some input on helps to drive the narrative for Polkadot into the future, with the community's involvement. This is the type of thing that I like to see. The next thing we want to talk about is the interoperability and security enhancements, because remember, interoperability is at the core of what Polkadot's about. So interoperability and security enhancements are at the core of Polkadot's mission, and Polkadot 2.0 continues to build on this foundation. The new version will facilitate seamless communication and data transfer between different blockchains or parachains within the Polkadot ecosystem. And additionally, security will be bolstered through an improved staking system and better resource allocation mechanisms. This means a more secure and more interconnected network for everyone involved. Have you ever heard, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So what blockchain and technology is being able to do now is, as they improve, and like this with Polkadot 2.0, moving into a world of evolution of scalability, and not only that, interoperability, they are making sure that they can start moving as quick as possible and grow with the times, but also go together. Right? If you want to go far, go together. That's what Polkadot 2.0 is all about, is to make sure the interoperability and the scalability can meet the future needs. That's what I'm interested in. And finally, let's discuss the impact on the DOT token. The changes that are going to be brought by Polkadot 2.0, they're expected to increase the utility and demand for the DOT ecosystem. Demand, remember supply, demand, what drives price? Demand. Well, as projects need DOT, all these different parachains, these different community builders within the ecosystem, as they need DOT to acquire block space, we could see a positive impact on the token's value. The introduction of flexible resource allocation and enhanced governance is also likely to attract even more developers to the ecosystem, further driving demand for DOT. In summary, we also have to consider that Polkadot, I believe, was recently added to some of the grayscale funds. We also see a huge development in the space for not only adoption coming in from the Bitcoin spot ETFs, and now we're about to have this Ethereum spot ETF likely approved. If it's not in the next few days, I guarantee it'll be sometime this year. But what we're seeing is an increased awareness about the crypto ecosystem. As more people come in, we do need to have more and more interoperability. We need to have networks that work together and have already had it figured out how they're going to scale, how they're future-proofing future congestion and preventing that congestion so they can maintain speed, but then also making sure these different protocols can operate, not just being on an island alone, because that's just going to make, in very few use cases, that's going to be pivotally useful in the cases of specific security needs or some of those functionalities. But in all reality, most of the things we're going to be doing over the next 15 years, they're going to become more and more integrated with blockchain. So we want to make sure that in our portfolios, it's a great idea to have at least some exposure to something that provides that interoperable opportunity, that interoperability use case, and ecosystems that are building in concert with each other. So again, in summary, Polkadot 2.0 is set to bring about transformative change in how blockchain networks operate, making them more scalable, efficient, and community-driven. Community, that's what it's all about for me. This upgrade promises to enhance the overall experience for developers. Remember, and that's going to bring new development on chain. They have to bid on this block space in order to do the developments and operate with what they're doing. That removes some available supply. It also allows a lot more demand for that price, as well as driving ecosystem that attracts more users, whether they're investing, trading, or just utilizing the services. And so with that, it's all positive for what we're thinking about investing in token price performance over the next period of time. So with that, stay tuned as we continue to monitor, and I'm going to be reporting on the progress of Polkadot 2.0 and a lot of the developments that are coming out, and I'm going to put some spotlights on some of the parachains that they have developing out there, because there are some phenomenal developments and projects that are building on Polkadot now. I can't wait to see what comes with the Polkadot 2.0 improvements and what that's going to do for the Polkadot price in this bull run. Let me know in a comment down below what project you'd like me to see break down next. And also, most specifically, are there any parachains in the Polkadot ecosystem you'd like a little bit of a deeper dive on? That's all I got for now. Thank you for watching. I hope that you're looking at your entire portfolio, asking where the utility for each one of those projects is going to be into the future. Does this have a long-term time horizon perspective, or is this something that you're just trading? I'd say right now, be very focused on at least some projects in your portfolio where they can be in 3, 5, 5, 15 years time, because the growth that this space is going to see over the next 15 years is going to absolutely change lives. And because of that, that's why for me, Polkadot is a long-term hold. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, and I hope that you all have an absolutely wonderful day. And I will see you all in the next video. Again, hit that like button, drop your comment down below. I'll see you later. Adios.